How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, he would chuck, as much as he could, and chuck as much as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Hello again everybody, and welcome back to Down to Earth with Jim. In today's video I'm going to be talking about this brilliant resource here, woodchip, and why I think you should use it in your garden. Now that we're coming to the end of the season, we're going to start thinking about what things we can be doing during the winter, what jobs we can be getting doing while everything's lying dormant and nothing's really going on. And wood chipping the allotment or your garden is one job I really like doing over the winter, and I'm going to explain why I really like using wood chips in the garden. There are pros and there are cons. I'm going to explain both of them in detail, and hopefully that'll help you decide whether you should be using wood chip in your garden. Now, it's pretty easy to get hold of a load of wood chip. All you need to do is get in contact with one of your local tree surgeons or arborists. Just go on Facebook and look for any tree surgeons in your area and ask them if they've got any wood chip they need getting rid of, because most tree surgeons want to get rid of a load of wood chips so they can start the next job. You know, they don't want to have a load of wood chip on their truck, and they just want to get on with the next job. Now, there's also an app that you can get called Chip Drop, and you can advertise your site or your garden or whatever as a drop-off point for tree surgeons to drop off their wood chip for you as well. You can use that, but I just got in touch with some tree surgeons around our area, and they were more than happy to drop off some wood chip for us. In fact, there's quite a few tree surgeons that keep dropping off wood chip on our site now that they know about us. They just want to get rid of it, so now we just keep getting wood chip dropped off every now and again randomly, just big piles of it appearing. But I really like wood chip for quite a few reasons. One being it's really good for your paths. I think it looks really good. It's neat and tidy, it's easy, it doesn't cost anything. I could flag all my paths and it would last much longer, but I just find it easier, looks better. The only thing with that is you have to keep topping it up every year, because it does start to rot down and break down eventually. But for your feet, there's no mud or anything like that. It's much cleaner on your feet, and yeah, for that reason I really like it. Now, as I said, you do need to keep topping it up every year, but if you're getting a constant supply of wood chip for free, then why not? It's just a quick top up every year, and that is all you need to do. Another reason I really like wood chip is because it's a good bulk material for compost. Now, if you get the ratio right of greens to browns in your compost, and you use this wood chip as a brown material, it's a really good bulk material, and it'll bulk your compost out. It'll also aerate it as well, so it's not going to be this stodgy mess. So I really like it as a bulk material. I've mixed it in with some of my garlic compost bins here in layers, and yeah, that's what I've done with it. And number 3, I really like using wood chip as mulch as well around my plants. It will help hold in moisture, it will keep weeds down as well, and it will also break down into the soil as well eventually. After a while, give it a year or two, it will start to break down into the soil and provide vital nutrients to your plants. Now, the only caveat with this is you need to make sure that when you're applying it as a mulch, you don't mix it into your compost, into your soil with your plants, because it will steal nitrogen from the soil, and this will, well, obviously it'll badly affect your plants. But you just need to make sure that it's just the top layer that you're applying the mulch to, just one layer, and you don't mix it in. And as long as you do that, you're fine. But only when it's fresh. When it's broken down a little bit, it doesn't steal nitrogen from the soil as much. It sort of balances it out, and it releases good nutrients into the soil instead of stealing nitrogen. It's because when wood chips break down, the microbes involved do take nitrogen from the soil, so that's why wood chips steal nitrogen from the soil when they break down. Now, you could just leave a pile of wood chip in your garden for 2 years and you will have a big pile of compost eventually. It will eventually break down. In a big pile, it's going to heat up as well. It's going to get really hot inside, all that microbial activity, and it's going to heat up, and it's going to turn into compost much quicker in a pile. But this will also turn into compost that you can put in your garden. One big downside I would say with wood chip is that if you have a big problem with slugs, it's probably going to make the problem a little bit worse. for me, that's not really a big deal because I've got other ways of combating the slugs and keeping them down. But I think when it rains, it gets really and it starts rotting down anyway and going a bit soggy. It's going to provide a good environment for slugs to sort of hide underneath all the bits of wood chip. So that is one downside, quite a big one. But for me, the pros outweigh the cons. So this isn't really a big enough con to justify me not using wood chip on my allotment. So now, of course, there are different types of wood chip because there's different types of trees. I got a load of wood chip from an oak tree dropped off earlier this year, and it was a really nice quality wood chip. And oak tends to last longer as well; it doesn't break down as fast. So I applied this wood chip on my paths, and it's still holding up really well. Actually, it's not really broken down much. And also, there's you can get wood chip obviously from the trunk, and you can get wood chip from the branches, the small twigs from the tree as well, called ramial wood chip. This is supposed to be better for adding nutrients to your soil. So if you want to use it as a mulch, then ramial wood chip is probably going to be best for mulching your beds. There's also wood chip from conifers as well, which has got a lot of bits of green matter in it as well. So that's not as great, but it's better than nothing. I would use that more for compost. Now, if you're getting quite a lot of wood chip dropped off, then you can probably decide between, you're probably going to get different variations in types of wood chip and size and stuff like that. You're probably going to get chunkier wood chip, which you can use for your paths, and you're going to get more finer pieces of wood chip, like ramial wood chip, which you can use for your mulch as well. So I think I've included everything in the video on the pros and the cons of using wood chip. There are some pros and there are cons. The pros being it's brilliant for using on your paths and as a mulch material for your plants. Good for compost as well. When it breaks down, it does add good nutrients to your soil. Cons, it can attract more slugs. If you have a slug problem, that's a bad thing for you. And it can also steal nitrogen from the soil if it is mixed in, so you do need to be careful when you're using it as a mulch material. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I upload new content just like this. I hope you all stay safe, happy gardening, and I will see you in the next video.